Good morning, everybody. Welcome to TLD Chat. It is Thursday, and today we're going to be talking with Andrew Hughes of Designing Digitally. He is here. We're going to be chatting with him in a little bit, but before we get started, I just wanted to tell everybody a little bit about TLDC. TLDC.us is the website where you can come and join and tell us that you like what we're doing by signing up for the newsletter and wanting to hear more. We've got a comedian that writes our newsletters, and they're top-notch, hilarious. Right, Luis? And we promise not to flood your inbox, and we also promise to give you nothing but valuable content. We'll tell you what's going on in the community and the interesting things that we are up to. And one of those interesting things is TLDC, not 17, but 18. It's still just right around the corner because TLDC 18 is in January this year, and we're going to have it in Phoenix. It'll be the last week of January. We're going to nail down the specific dates, but if you block out the last week of January for yourself, you'll definitely be okay there. Which days that it falls into that week, we're not too sure yet. We're still working that out, but we will absolutely figure that out. And for those of you that are new, I noticed a new name popping in. Cara, welcome. Good to see you here. Good to see new faces. And JD, welcome back. Good to see you again. TLDC is the Training, Learning, and Development Conference. At least that's what it originally started out as. But it is also, the TLDC is our community, the Training, Learning, and Development community. And also TLDC is the TLD Chat. And so many more C things coming up soon. But for now, those are the three things we're focused on. So this is our community, our extension from last year's event, which was fantastic. And our guest today was with us last year at TLDC 16 in San Diego. And he is Andrew Hughes. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody give Andrew a big round of applause. Yay!
Hey, everyone.
Uh-oh. I got an echo thing going on here. I wonder if that's me. Okay, hold on a second. Let's see if we can get this.
How's that?
Ah, that's good.
Let me know. Getting a little bit of echo.
Yeah, I don't know if that's me coming your microphone, me coming through your microphone, or you coming through mine. But I think we got it. And no headphones. What are you guys talking about? What do you think? We know how to do this or something?
No, you're gonna make
Yeah, we've been fine without headphones for a long time, so we're good. It's all good. So Andrew, hey, what's up, man? How is designing digitally working out these days?
Oh, we're doing okay. We are getting a crazy echo all of a sudden.
Oh, again, huh?
I wonder if it's coming from me. Hold on a second.
Let me turn mine down a little bit.
Test.
Now, it seems like it's coming from me because I must be picking up your sound a little bit more than I normally do. Hold on one sec.
Still getting it.
Yeah, because when I mute my microphone, it seems to turn off. So give me a test 1, 2 real quick.
That's weird. Let me grab a headset also.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'll do the headset just because you want me to. Sorry, everybody. This is kind of how we roll. Remember, this is an experiment. We're just testing this out. Even though we've been doing it for 3 weeks now, I don't think we've had feedback issues to this point, but it happens. Let me get a headset going. If we had Sam on, maybe he could do some on-hold music for us.
Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Is that better?
Yes. Any?
Woo! Okay.
Oh, and no
Hold on a
feedback?
second. No feedback.
Oh, wait.
How about now? Can you hear me?
I'm going to just put one headphone in myself.
Okay. Let's see if I can toggle video. I don't know why my...
All right.
All right, that's a ridiculous look on my face.
What's the ridiculous? Oh,
can I close video and open it back up, or if I close, am I going to be gone
I'll
forever?
toggle you. Hold on a second. Oh no.
Still nothing.
No, just here. I'll close you out and then I'll re-invite you. All right. How's that?
That is good on my end if everyone can see me.
There it goes. It just popped up there. All right. Oh, now I'm frozen.
No, Brent.
Now, yeah, I can't close myself out because it will shut down the whole entire show.
See, I just broke the internet. The entire internet is broken.
It's because you went on vacation. Don't ever go on vacation. All right, hold on one second. I think I have an idea. Oh, wait, I think I just came back.
I know. Look at these amazing headphones I have on right now. Yes!
Woohoo!
2 for 2.
You're looking good. And no echo, I think. I think we're good.
Okay. We good? Everybody good? Life good? Yes. Only Howard Stern is way more popular than I am. Good one, JD.
Yeah, you could put all of us in the chat and the two of us together, and we still aren't as popular as Howard Stern.
All right, so you asked me a question, and my answer is designing digitally is doing well. We're growing. Things are crazy busy here, and things are always a new adventure. That's what I can say. Where'd I go now?
Yeah, you're kind of frozen up too, but let's see. I'm going to toggle the video. I can still hear you, and at least this is a better frozen shot of
rocking and rolling.
So
if you guys can still hear me, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, that's a good shot to freeze you on too. So it'll probably loosen up. So we'll just let it. That's
a better smirk than the one before.
Yeah, I think it's just.
So I will give that one credit.
Yeah, I think Crowdcast might be a little overwhelmed today or something. I'm not sure, but hey, you know what? Let's do this. Let's. Well, first of all, congratulations! I know you guys won a whole bunch of new awards.
Thank you very much. That would be not me though. That would be the team upstairs.
Oh, okay. Well,
the team upstairs is the production team. They've done an excellent job developing the custom learning that's come from some of the needs that our customers have had.
Well, we've got. I'm not sure if this is one of them or if this is just your most recent awesome production, but the VR chop and drop. It's perfect timing that you. That you released this yesterday out into the wild to show people what you guys can do, because this is the kind of stuff I wanted to talk to you about today, because I know you're doing, and you have been doing a lot of this kind of training work that I think a lot of people in our industry want to be doing but aren't and want to know how, and you are just the guy to tell them.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, this is Chop and Drop was actually a project that was approached to us by one of our customers as a proof of concept of what we could possibly do with the ability of taking game mechanics and an everyday task of electrical line workers for occupational work and be able to make it safe for them to practice cutting down the trees and tending to the electrical lines in residential areas. So what we did is we worked hand in hand with them to build out a scenario-based experience and utilized Unity 3D to create the immersive experience with the Rift and the Vive, and we actually had that Learning Solutions a couple weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
And what we were able to do is show people the proper way of being able to cut down the trees without, well, basically minimizing risk and liability. And what we mean by that is how to properly cut those trees down without damaging people's property, the electrical lines, and then also how to tend to those lines after you've completed the trimming of the trees.
And how not to be standing underneath the limb as you're chopping it off, I noticed there.
Right. And from there, we did give, feedback as far as both audio and sensitory with the ability to either use the standard controllers or the gloves that both give vibration feedback, along with the ability for people to compete both on the timing and the accuracy of your cuts and the risk of your liability that then go into the high scoreboard that then is captured for them to compete against each other by playing this. And it's a very light experience. The only reason why is we want people to have the path of least resistance by being able to just sit down quickly, grab the controllers, put this headset on, or even have somebody hold the headset and be able to interact with it rather than taking, a minute or two to fully set them up, strap it on, get them all prepared, get them oriented to it. We wanted to make it quick and easy. So this is actually one that you sit down for.
Oh, cool.
And based on our last research, we actually now have it so where you can sit or stand. That way you have the ability to interact with it either way, depending on your comfort level of VR.
Okay, awesome. Hey, hold on. Let's I thought for sure the image would be back by now, but I'm going to just stop for 1 second here.
Paused.
Tons of questions. I'm going to close your video and I'm going to re-invite you again just to reset this thing.
Woo!
And he's back. It's good stuff. All right. So let's get down to like some, just a little bit of details here, and then we'll wait and see what the folks in the chat want to hear about. But I really want to know, so what does a VR project like this look like? As far as from a production aspect, was this intensive? Did this take you guys a lot of time? I mean, just, in general.
Yeah, well, for us, we have people that are trained in Unity that are developing games for learning. And where we're at overall for games and learning is what's really been adapted by the L&D space is a lot of what we consider the light gaming, maybe mini games, and not so much, massive MMOs that they play over a long span of time yet. So what we're seeing is we have a lot of Unity developers here in our office that are usually scratching at the opportunity to push the boundaries of what we're doing. So what they have done is they continue to push the innovation for us and wanting to do this, and have already been working on the R&D. There's allocated hours for R&D. So they already had that as an option. It was a matter of fitting that with an actual need of one of our customers. So what we did is we sat down with one of our customers and really discussed like what would be a valid use case for this that could show the ability for you guys to have something that is beneficial to your organization, but at the same time is going to give the L&D industry an understanding of what can be done with VR rather than just looking at it as a cool concept.
Yeah, right. We have a lot of that going on, so we don't need any more of that cool concept stuff. Although this is very cool, but I love the idea. So what? How do you decide? What are the metrics, right? Or are there any? Is it do they just see the value, or has it not been in the wild long enough to get some good data yet?
Well, since it was just implemented and launched last week for them, it's in the weeds at the current moment. The one thing that we do know is, as far as metrics of what we're tracking, is how accurate were their cuts, which trees did they actually take down and why, looking at their speed and ability to get it done. How did they maneuver the boom truck? Did they damage any personal property? Did they damage any electrical lines? How did they handle those processes? And then that data is then brought back to the training director from the actual game in data that allows them to then analyze exactly what the benefit has been for them. So when people talk about that analytical data, it's there. It's a matter of, we can dump it all day. It's what are they going to do with it, and how are they going to show that metric as a KPI and as a benefit to the organization. So that taking that information and data, they'll be able to take that and say, okay, let's look at the control group that didn't have this implemented, and let's look at the group that did, and then let's track that over time to see how efficient they are compared to the other group that's running their boom lines to cut their trees and fix the electrical lines. And then we can see a more in-depth analysis across the organization as a whole.
Gotcha. So
performance index.
And yeah, I've heard
XAPI is a great one, and I'm sorry to jump on this tangent, but I see so many more great examples of XAPI across the board from all organizations, and I have to say I'm very impressed that we're now at a point where it's not just concept; it's actual use cases. So I'm really excited to see that. I know Anthony's been working on it heavily. I know Sam has been working on it. I know a lot of people have been, and it's awesome. And thanks for the ADL guys for working so hard at that. And a shout out to all of those guys that we know in the industry, that it's people like Aaron that were pioneers in that stuff.
Yeah, XAPI is a good thing, and we've talked about it a little bit, and Anthony, our XAPI guy, in talking about the XAPI stuff with us. So it's always a good conversation. Hey, so we did say, Craig asked about KPIs. You said key performance indicators or key performance index. I think it's the interesting thing is I don't think our industry talks KPIs as much as it probably should. It's very much a business term. In the business, we talk a lot about trying to provide business value, and that we need to be talking more about KPIs and how we can impact those. So yeah, it's great to hear people.
It's a hard discussion because, and this is what we find, and people like JD I know have probably witnessed this, where it's a hard discussion because they really have to open up as an organization as a whole to really have that conversation with you.
Yeah.
So they'll a lot of times look at it as in, we have this immediate problem that we have that we need to try to solve with a Band-Aid, rather than looking at it as a whole, because it costs more time and money to make that happen.
Yeah.
So for that to happen, it's a hurdle and even more time invested than a lot of times people want to really look at and do, to really nail down that KPI and look at it from a business use case overall, and really have understanding of the foundation of that organization when you might be an outside vendor. Now,
Right.
working internally for that organization, that would be a lot more beneficial for you to be able to put those KPIs together with an external vendor, if you're willing to share that data and info.
Yeah, that is the hard part. Having those conversations and getting them to kind of loosen up and letting you in on the secret sauce, right? Their business and the KPIs. That is a difficult conversation, especially when you're a vendor, a service provider. When you're internal, you're right. I think it's a little bit easier, but still, I've found that the leaders of other organizations and other departments within the company will often even look at you funny because they're like, well, you're just the training department. Are you going to understand what I'm talking about, sort of thing? So it's an interesting shift, I think, even for other professionals that you're working with, to hear the training department actually talk the talk of business. And I think it's something that we are slowly getting more used to as we have more of these conversations in our groups like this, and learning from each other about why it's important. But anyways, let's get back to the gaming stuff. So
the fun stuff.
Yeah, right. What? So when I look at something like this, I don't see this as just being good for one client. I mean, this is the kind of thing that could be used across the board for a lot of different organizations. Is this owned by just one brand, or can you cut this loose and let anybody that needs to learn how to, use a saw and cut branches?
We're actually in the middle of, we're going to put it on Steam for free.
Oh, wow.
The customers allowed us to do that because it was non-branded to their organization.
Okay.
And it was a split effort. So we're actually going to put it on Steam for free. So, but it takes time. So it'll be on there.
Steam. So let's explain to folks what Steam is. I don't think everybody here is a gamer and understands that. So what's Steam?
Steam is a gaming platform for you to be able to, it's basically a hub for you to be able to download games and play games, PC games. And Steam is where they're, let me see if I can get you guys the website. Steam allows you to actually download thousands of games and pay for games or use the free games. Do you already have it open? Go for it, man.
I'll see what I can find here.
For PC gamers, this is the hub, in our opinion, or in my personal opinion. And inside of here there's Steam VR, and there's hundreds of games for anyone that's interested in just trying VR. Pick yourself up a Vive or an Oculus, and you're thinking to yourself, well, there's not a lot of games. There are a ton of games on Steam. And there are many games that are free or very cheap, just a couple dollars, as you see. And these are all VR-ready games for you to play. It's great. And I see a lot of game companies on here that have built some very innovative games, both anything from action adventure to horror to first-person shooters to puzzle games to just outrageous first-person experiences. And it's awesome. And so if you guys get a chance, try out Steam. If you're interested in playing some of your old school games like SimCity and Age of Empires and stuff like that, you can find that here also. So you don't have to just get your VR stuff. There's free to play, there's demos, and then every month there's a free game they give away.
Cool. Now, do they have a training category? I'm just looking through some of the drop downs here, and I don't see,
they don't necessarily, but we're just going to put it out there for people to try out and to kind of push those boundaries for anybody that wants to use this. And here's why. If you're going to use a bit of the Vive or the Oculus, right now they do run the Steam VR software to interface with the game. So it's just an easier avenue for people that want to try this out. There is an educational category, and that's what it's going to go under. You're right, Luis.
Yeah, that's where I'm at here. Oh, the car mechanics simulator. That looks interesting.
Twitch is cool, but here's the thing. When I play actual games, I get just owned by 13-year-olds. So, in my opinion, Twitch is just watching my future every time I play a game. So Twitch is a live stream of people playing games. So now the cool thing for kids, if anybody's watched the South Park episode, is for kids to watch other kids play the game online live. So and that's people like PewDiePie that have made $1 million over people watching him play video games.
Right.
That job. Why are none of us doing that job?
Well, there's only one guy making $1 million at it, yet there's 1 million people trying to make $10 at it. So.
Yeah, that is very true. lucky guy.
Yeah, you got to get on the front end of that, and you got to be good, and you got to build an audience like everything else, right?
While I sit over here with a 1950s astronaut headset. Looking
good. So, what's the process like getting onto Steam?
You got to apply, and then your game goes on there for review.
Okay.
You have to do a review just to make sure you're not malwaring or doing anything illegal. And then from there, once it's approved, then it'll show up in the system. So that's where we're.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the industry and kind of how you see, gaming, what's the market looking like right now in the L&D world, in the training world or whatnot for people interested in doing this kind of thing? Are we there yet?
We're definitely there yet. But we're definitely there. And the reason why 5 years ago, even 7 years ago, people were like, I don't know about doing gaming for learning. And now we see a lot of demand. We still see a lot of demand for traditional e-learning or even conversion of traditional e-learning into mobile learning. But we're really focused on doing, gamified e-learning or developments of serious games. And we're busy. So it's a matter of these organizations see the value. However, they put it under a microscope too. What I think is fascinating is that in the past they were okay with SCORM, and I see it telling you your total score, they passed or failed, how long they took, and how many attempts they had, and they're fine. They're good. Here you go. And
they'll even spend tens of thousands of dollars on it.
So you spend more than what they're used to spending on something that could be very beneficial for them, only to see them be like, I want all the data, and they do nothing with the data, and we'll pump that data and throw that data at them all day, and they do nothing with the data other than say, this is very effective. All right. And so it's one of those where I think what I would like to see is the ability eventually down the line for serious games to have a benchmark, much like what we have in SCORM, but an XAPI benchmark for serious games, and have that as a benchmark for us to be able to grade them on an apples to apples comparison. So there you go, Anthony. Build that. There you go, buddy. But that's way down the line. We're just now seeing organizations adopt XAPI and actually use it, and we're just now seeing people diving into the serious game realm. You missed it. It's over, man. I don't remember anything, so I just lost everything. I hope this is recorded. You have to go back.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. So, do you run into any resistance when you offer up? Are you sensitive still about using the term games or gamification?
I'm not. What I am sensitive about is the difference between gamification and games.
Okay.
That I'm very sensitive about. And I'm very sensitive about games that actually have a purpose and not games for game's sake. Those are the two things that I see that I want to make sure that we really focus on. For instance, building a timer into a question is not a game. but thinking about an overall arcing storyline that have game mechanics that continue to keep them there, that allow them to compete and collaborate, that allow them to continue to draw interest and continue to want to play it, is what I deem as a strong game, not a question. Different way of doing an interactive assessment or knowledge check. So those are my biggest pet peeves. And then for gamification, you know, the real definition of gamification in my eyes, and this is just my eyes only, is putting sugar coating a bitter cup of coffee. And what I mean by that is you might be in a meeting that really is not fun. Maybe it's over compliance training and your boss walks in with a timer and some playing cards, and you guys are going to role play and have a little bit of fun with it and have some points put to it, and whoever wins get a trophy at the end of the day. That is actually using gamification to do something they already had to do, but making it more fun. My opinion, gamification is more of an external than it is built into a learning experience. But if you're going to do a full game, it's the intention of people having to pull the data and information out of the game rather than pushing that data and information to them. And so that's my definition of those and my pet peeve.
It's perfect. No, I think it's great. I don't think we got any anybody arguing with you in the chat, so that's good. And I think just about everybody here has probably seen you give a presentation or two about this. So you know, because you do that every now and then, don't you?
Yeah, advocate for it.
Yeah.
Let me try something here real quick, guys.
Yeah, sure.
Don't.
Yeah, there's go ahead and do that it's the 8:30 mark, and I like to always just kind of stop and take a break, take a little breather, and let my guest, if you're Andrew, you've been checking out the chat, but that's okay, just to let people catch up and to see where we're at, to welcome some of the new faces that have not been in TLD chat before. Welcome all of you, some fresh names and faces, and some faces that have been here just for the second or third time too. Welcome back. Again, you know, if you haven't gone to tldc.us and signed up for the newsletter, go ahead and do that. I know you probably hate signing up for more newsletters and all of that, but it really shows us that you like what we're doing, especially when you're too shy to just kind of tell us what you want. So let us know that you're okay with what we're doing by signing up for the newsletter, and then feel free to I'm going to invite you back, Andrew. Don't sweat it.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, so good to see so many faces here today, and everybody is really active in the chat. So if you have any questions, now is the time. Any specific questions, any specific things that you want to talk about as far as VR and gaming. We've hit on a couple of things. We've seen a good example of some of the great work that Andrew's team does. So if there's anything else you guys want to talk about, let me know. So the request number one, Andrew, is go on a rant about branching.
I can't. It's I can't do that to myself. Sorry, guys.
It might be so maybe don't go on a rant, but it might be a it might be interesting to some folks. Maybe they don't really understand, maybe because I know a lot of branching stuff gets the moniker of gamification or gamified and whatnot. So just give us sort of the 30-second rant.
Okay, so there's different types of branching, and we've always talked about everyone just using the word branching. And I've seen multiple definitions of branching. Branching to some people could be a slide where you click on things and other things pop up. I've seen where you have branching of storylines, and I don't mean articulate storyline. I mean storylines to where yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. But the thing that bothers me is what the gaming industry uses is it's called parallel branching, where it goes from 1 to 2 to maybe back to 1 to 2 to back to 1, where you can jump, but there's still a structured line. You see this in things like Call of Duty. You see this in games like the Telltale games, and you see this in many professional development studios when it comes to gaming. And so if we're going to do actual real branching, it's nearly impossible because you would have an exponential endings. So it would end up with 4, 8, 10, 12, 20 different examples just from you branching a couple times. So it's the definition of what we should be using in the L&D industry as parallel branching and not just branching. And the reason why is parallel branching is manageable, and if you use that framework, it's a lot more interesting for the learner, and also it's easier on you as a development firm to be able to build something in parallel branching. So it's more of just making a better definition for the L&D industry. Thanks, Craig.
Perfect. And if you guys want to go see more about that, you can just Google some of those terms, the parallel branching and all of that. I know there's a lot of great information out there. A great comment in here, and I hope I get your name right.
Yeah, Twine is really cool. Good share, JD.
Trying to go through. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, great comment. Proper gamification implementation should be intrinsically motivating. So what are your thoughts on that? Intrinsically versus extrinsically motivating
Absolutely.
factors.
That's the whole point of adding in the game mechanics, to make it intrinsically motivating. So that's it. The comment is correct. In regards to extrinsic motivations, here's one that we did that was actually a pretty creative extrinsic motivation for one of our customers. One of our customers, we built a sales training game that lasts 10 minutes a day for 365 days. It's basically a 4-turn type of sales training game that they played against 3,000 salespeople. And so they had this whole game built, and it's been a great success. But what we wanted to do is give an extrinsic reward for them to play it for that long, because most of training is 1 hour. With salespeople, they need a lot more practice at cross-selling and learning how to cross-sell solutions. So what we ended up doing is they had a celebrity on retainer on the advertising and marketing side. So we set up to work with the advertising marketing side to say, hey, could we get that celebrity to go to lunch with the top performers of this actual sales training game at the end of the year if they play this whole thing through? And that was their extrinsic motivation to play the intrinsic and continue to play, along with all the intrinsic rewards they had of competing against each other. So that was one way that we use extrinsic rewards and intrinsic rewards to make something successful for cross-selling solutions for this client.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love it. You probably have to keep the client private.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yes, fortunately for them, but yes. They're
Because that's cool. Well, they must be fairly huge if they have 3,000 salespeople and a star as on their marketing team.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, they're known. They're known pretty well, man. They're good people. They're good people. It was a fun project. Yeah. And they still use it to this day. So it's cool to know that it's still being used as a learning experience and a competitive learning experience for their sales team.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
You know, and from a business use case, their problem was they would have somebody sell, $10,000 or $20,000 worth of one product, but they would need support and they would need additional products to go with that product, or additional networking services that need to go with the hardware and material. But they weren't cross-selling that material. So that's what we were there to do, is to beef up cross-selling, which is an easier way to sell than finding a new customer.
Very cool. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the jobs in our industry and how you see that shifting as a vendor. And I like to talk at TLDC in general. I like to talk to everybody about the work that we do, right? And we all know that that's changing slightly, depending upon what your favorite part of the job is. So if you're a developer, even the tools are changing, slightly, or there are new alternatives, I guess I should say. And then there's, different strategies for applying those new tools. And so, no matter where you are on the spectrum of employment within L&D, no matter what type of work you're doing in the L&D world, what do you see that's changing that can help people maybe either confirm the current path that they're on, or maybe help them kind of see that maybe they need to think about moving in another direction?
That's a good question. Oh man. Okay, so I can only go from my own experience.
Yeah.
What I see is the first thing that gets cut is L&D funds. So what ends up happening is the L&D team has to do 5 different job roles. So a lot of companies are looking for IDs that are developers at the same time.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot. Unfortunately, I also think that what you see is something that, and this is me advocating for L&D and for the instructional designers of the world and the developers of the world. What ends up happening is they find a very talented ID or developer that can do both the instructional side and the production side. So they just make them do that and the project management of everything. And it's not fair. You end up with like 3 job roles. And as a business owner, I understand it. But as a human being, it's better to have more minds working with you on a project. You don't need too many cooks in the kitchen, but not one can't run everything. So I see that a lot, where it becomes implied that they become the project manager too.
Yeah.
And so that's my route for IDs. Don't be the project manager too if you don't have to. And what I also see is we're in an industry with people that are lifelong learners. And I think that the people that are the lifelong learners will have no problem adapting to the new technologies and trying new things out. It blows my mind that every day there's a new system, a new technology, and a new approach to it. And there are many that are very innovative. I commend a lot of people on their innovation and the tools that they've brought out for us to make life a lot easier. So my best advice is, if you haven't tried something, like you haven't tested something out, or you haven't downloaded a trial of something, just go do it. Even if you only spend 5 minutes with it, that curiosity will lead you to become more marketable as a L&D professional. And then keep reading the crap out of blogs, the industry expert blogs, your guys' blog, the other training mag, the guilds, and everyone else's blogs. They have some very beneficial content that can help you stay accustomed with what's going on.
So how do you deal with the current state of the LMS industry, or like I know when you build stuff like this, right? Like the chainsaw, cutting tree game, are they telling you, hey, that's gotta be, why isn't that SCORM, or can it hook up, to my LMS?
Yeah, we make that very clear that no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Here's what we can do. Utilizing Unity, and if you get very creative, you can just use a light SQL document, or you can even use a database that's an internal database to save some of the internal data, or even suspend data within inside of the LMS to keep some of that game data, that then have the gaming engine process that data and then pump it out the way that you need it.
And that's where the XAPI comes in, right? You can push it out that way. Okay.
Exactly. And so for us, we are able to send XAPI calls to the LMS, or you could use the SCORM Clouder engine to send that data back to the LMS. Unfortunately, it's not going to be sitting in the LMS in a web browser for them to play a VR game. It's just not technology. The tech isn't there yet. Yeah. But what the tech is able to do with the gaming engine like Unity is we are able to export out to WebGL and HTML5. It doesn't work on the phone yet, but it does work in the browser. And in regards to that, you can still make standalone games. Like we built one over supply chain where it never ends, and you can go week by week and adjust your supply chain. But what it's doing on the back end is counting, and as soon as you get 35 weeks profitable, you could be going for 10 years. Showing every 52 turns, and until you get 35 profitable, it's not going to tell the LMS that you've completed this actual course. And that gives us an understanding and the ability for them to say, if they can get 35 weeks to be profitable out of 52, at least we know that they are having an understanding of how to effectively run our supply chain. And you can still make that a never-ending experience as a game that pushes the boundaries of what has been done with inside of LMSs and inside of learning without having to put on a VR headset or build it outside of the LMS.
Interesting. Love it. Yeah, because I know the question always comes up, right? I was telling people, I forget what day it was, but it was very apparent to me when I went to ITSEC this past year and saw that the whole entire Serious Games Challenge, the competition area that's put on by the DoD, pretty much everything that was there was built in Unity 3D. And that was when I was like, okay, this is the future. I mean, this is where it's going, unless another engine that I don't know of is currently, it being built, that's specific to our industry. It looks like Unity is gonna be a very strong option for people.
I think what Dave Helgeson, the founder of Unity, has done to allow it to be affordable to people is great, because prior to this, Unreal had like a 25% commission charge and a $10,000 licensing fee. So now Unreal's going, oh crap. So Unreal went down to free. The thing I can tell you though is Unreal has had 10 years of evolution before Unity even walked in the door, and Unity is coming pretty close to what they have. The other side of it is Dave and them have focused on things like mobile output that Unreal really wasn't interested in. They were more interested in looking at the development of the actual video game industry. And then looking at IDSEC and Game Tech, which are on the military side, all of it is really heavy gaming, and it's more of simulated based for military actions, which is awesome. And one of the things that our company did, back in 2008, 2009, we developed a massive MMO for the United States Air Force Academy that at ITSEC won the Game Tech first place for the virtual environment division, or the virtual environment category. And what we did is we actually replicated the Air Force Academy, and we built a massive MMO that allowed for the Air Force administration team to be in there, invite kids to come check it out, and they got to play virtual basketball, do flight simulator, kick field goals in the field goal arena, and had built-in VoIP and text chat. And so admissions reps could recruit you while you're playing these games. Had a virtual currency built in, along with the ability for you to upgrade to become the mascot if you found all the quizzes, played all the games, won all the games, played the hockey game, the flight simulator, the parachute jumping, all of that stuff. And basically it was a recruiting tool for them to have kids come out and take a look at the Air Force Academy without spending all the time and energy just to get to Colorado Springs.
Nice. That is very, very cool. It's not that much of a leap, right? When I go and I see all of that military stuff, when I see the tech, it's just because I've been doing this for years, it's very easy for me to look past the military aspect of it and see the functionality that they've created and go, oh my gosh, this can be used for so many other different things. I think in a lot of cases, some people have a hard time looking past the military aspect of it, but it's really that functionality that they're showing off that you could really apply to so many different things.
You're very much so. So every time I look at ITSEC, I'm like, holy cow, these guys are so far advanced in this technology simulation gaming realm than L&D is. But that's okay. We're in a completely different mindset and a different approach, and we're not trying to keep these guys from getting shot. We're trying to educate people. So the intensity of the actual simulated experience and the need for that isn't necessarily there in the HR realm. Hey guys, here's my partner in crime, Brittany.
Hello.
Hey, Brittany.
Hi.
Welcome to TLD Chat.
Thank you.
But I know we're running out of time, so I was going to show you guys around.
No, that's great. No, give us a tour. This is awesome.
I might get yelled at. This is the kitchen for all of you looking at the kitchen. Conference room. I don't know if you guys can see.
It just lit up.
I don't know how far behind you guys are.
Yeah, you guys got a nice office space there. Nice.
We have storage back here. Everybody be quiet for a moment.
I think that might fit in it too, to be honest.
That's the sales room. Oh, there's Curtis.
Where the magic happens. Hi, Curtis.
Oh, wow. There you go. Go walking around.
Hey, so tell everybody where you're located, actually, because I know you're always looking for instructional designers, and you guys are great and all that. So where are you guys at?
We're in between Cincinnati and Dayton, Ohio, in a right off of I-75 in a burb basically called Franklin, Ohio.
Very cool.
That's the project manager's office.
Yeah, Michael Abrams. That's hilarious.
Say hi, everybody. Hello. Oh, am I showing them the ceiling? I'm sorry. Say hi, everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Keep doing the magic.
There you go. And then the real stars of the office.
I was just going to say, that is awesome.
Yeah. So I'll get out of everybody's hair now. I'm going to get yelled at. So get out of our way.
We're going to, this is an HR issue, Andrew. We're going to have to put you on suspension.
Actually, HR is right in here.
No.
Not even joking.
Don't tell them what we're doing. Oh, hi, HR. Hey, Michael Abrams called this Cribs, Digital Learning Edition.
Cribs!
Which is great because it starts with a C, so we could do a whole show around it. And
oh, that'd be so cool. Office Cribs?
Yeah, TLC Crib.
I like that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, we've already. Hey, you know what? We've already done that with Dana's RV. I think didn't Dana? Didn't you do an episode with Sam when one of the days I wasn't there on LD Chat? Didn't we get a tour of your RV? I thought we did. I'm not sure, but it was Katie. Okay. Awesome stuff. Hey, man, Andrew, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for the tour too.
Hey, no problem. And yeah, I was gonna say thanks for having me on. I appreciate it to all of you guys, and I hope we got to nerd it up a little bit. Dana, just look out the window. I wish I had a window. You know, the office I'm in, so you guys know, basically I think was a closet. I've had to move 3 times because we just needed the office space. So now I'm basically in this closet office, and it's really sad.
It's really good. No, I think Dana's referring to, we didn't get a tour of her RV, but the last time she was on, all we saw was out her window.
Needs to get a window, Dana.
Yeah, Dana. So we'll get we'll have you on. You and Katie can be our first guests for TLD Cribs.
Yeah. Oh, hey, funny story for you guys. Craig is from the small town that I'm from. And to give you guys an idea of what I mean small town is, yeah, he just posted the link. There's a total of about 120 people, 190 people, I'm sorry, that live in this small town. And there's no fast food restaurants. There's nothing there. But it's crazy because we grow up and we all are in this industry, and Craig goes, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Vaughnsville, Columbus Grove area." And he's like, "No." find out that our families knew each other throughout the years, and I did, we never knew of each other. And he's from where I'm from, which is a needle in a haystack, I guess.
I was just gonna say, you know what? It's a small world, man. You just never know.
Isn't it though?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, well, we're creeping up on the 9 o'clock hour, so I want to be respectful of your time and just again say thanks for hanging out with us and nerding out and geeking out on the gaming and VR tech stuff. Just give us a quick shout out as to where people can find you if they want to get in touch and see more of your work and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. First off, you can always email me at andrew.hughes@ddinkmail.com. Here comes the Viagra emails. And you can always check us out at designingdigitally.com. The team does amazing work here, and most of the time I'm always amazed by what they make, and so they're always putting out cool new stuff. So take a look at that. I think there's a couple infographics coming out this month, so you guys should be on the lookout for that stuff. And I will be at Focus On in June, and that's about it, man.
Yeah,
I think that's I'll let the dogs know. They love running the roost around here, that's for sure.
No, it's all good. Well, hey, thanks for all of that again. Thanks for everything. I'm going to go ahead and close your video out and just do some wrap-up stuff on the show. You can stick around if you want and chat with folks in the chat. But other than that, thanks again for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it, Andrew.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody. Andrew Hughes from Designing Digitally for today's Thursday show. And as we start to creep up on the 9 o'clock hour, everybody say thanks to Andrew. Again, if you've never had a chance to meet him in person, fantastic guy. We love working with Andrew, and he always supports everything that we're doing, and we really, really appreciate that. So again, big thanks. And again, they do amazing stuff, amazing work there, as you could tell by some of the stories he had to tell. I mean, I don't even think I know all the cool stuff that they've done, but I know they do some really cool stuff there. So if you've got some money to burn and you want to do the big cool projects, now you know where to go to get the good stuff done, for sure. But anyways, again, TLD chat, TLD conference coming up last week of January in Phoenix, Arizona. So how many days till I see us? Yes. Excellent segue. We are definitely going to be doing the event. Luis and I have been working on it, talking about it, and so now it's just a matter of getting all the ducks in a row, which means I'll be putting together the program again, and we're going to be doing it a little bit differently this year. So our location is very geek chic, very cool location. Luis and I just toured it, and it's a learning. I forget what she called it, but I don't want to just call it a co-working space because it's so much more than that. They are a learning community. They're very much driven by the by building educational resources that bring together both academia and tech knowledge, technical learning skills, web development, all that stuff, and then and connecting those folks that learn from them with job providers that need people with those skills. And so yeah, it is it's the best way to explain it. Yes, it is galvanized, absolutely. And it is a very, very cool idea, and we're very excited to be there. Some cool benefits of it are They hold hackathons with hundreds of people pounding on their network. So the one thing you do not have to worry about coming to TLDC 18 is wondering if your hotel Wi-Fi is going to work, because this place has bandwidth stacked on bandwidth, stacked on bandwidth. So we will not have any problems there. No complaints about hotel Wi-Fi for a conference or anything like that. So it will be definitely a good time. So we're really excited about doing something new, right? Those of you who are at TLDC 16 already know that we like to try to change things up and provide value to you as the community. And this is just another step in that direction of trying to create events and face-to-face events that support you and give you what you need to be successful in doing the work of training that you all do and that we all do. So creating an environment that is conducive to us learning from each other is of utmost importance. So just like TLD Chat as well, we want to mix new tech and new models for how we as a community come together and learn from each other, learn new skills, learn about new tools, learn about new methods, learn about, new colleagues and new peers and new potential places to work and things like that. So just wanted to say thanks again to everybody who joined and hung out with us today and who support us all the time. We really appreciate it. Cara, I think you were one of our newbies today. Thank you so much for jumping in and hanging out with us. Tomorrow is Video Friday. It's one of our favorite days here where we're going to talk about everything video. And not only that, but tomorrow is a special version of Video Friday because we have none other than the fabulous Brian Fanzo, or as he's more known as iSocial Fans. He will be here talking live streaming with us and all of the great things that he's doing and everything, everything that he's learned. He's on top of this live streaming thing better than anybody I know. So he's a fantastic guy, good friend, very knowledgeable, more than willing to share his knowledge with us. So that's going to be fun. So that's tomorrow. If you know anybody else, or if you'd like to be a guest, and just be focused on in TLD Chat, just let me know and we'll get you on the schedule. Or if you have somebody in mind that you think would enjoy it or get some benefit from being in the hot seat, in the video hot seat and chatting with us, just shoot me a message and we'll make sure to get him on the air, because we've got a lot of days to fill. So Dana, yes, there are a lot of days between now and when everybody needs to be checking out Saguaros in Phoenix for TLDC 18. So I need some help filling those days. So just let me know. Also, let me know what kind of content you guys want to talk about. And with that, I will let you guys go. Have a great day. Enjoy your work. Enjoy doing the work of training. And we will see you tomorrow for Video Friday. Thanks again, everybody. You're awesome. Take care.